For the meeting of the Verona Common Council for Monday, July 10th, 2023 at 7 p.m. I will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll have the roll.
Alderperson Cronin.
Present.
Alderperson Helmke.
Present.
Alderperson Hoax.
Present.
Alderperson Kemp.
Here.
Alderperson Kimmett.
Here.
Alderperson Posey.
Here.
Alderperson Touche.
I'm here.
Alderperson Tucker Long.
Here.
All right. We have enough people for quorum. So we'll move on to item 4, which is public comments. Do any members of the public wish to speak?
Good evening. I'm Stan Hook, and this is Denise Royan. We're with the American Legion and Veterans Foundation here in Verona. And this is our second chance at this, so hopefully we don't strike out this time. We would like to present the city and the mayor with a baseball bat. It's a Coopertown bat, and it's engraved, and it reads, "Thanks for going to bat for our veterans on June 25th, 2023. So, Mayor. And I appreciate the support we get from Verona. American Legion really appreciates it. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I just wanted to real quick say, yeah, some parts of this job are tough, but there's some parts of the job I really like. And being able to be supportive and appreciative of veterans is something that I regard as a huge positive as part of this job. But thank you. We are still in public comment. So if any other members wish to speak, now would be the time to do so. All right, seeing no one approaching the microphone, we'll move on to item 5, which is the approval of the minutes from the June 26, 2023 Common Council meeting. Questions, comments, or motions to approve? Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a seconded by Alder Touche? Last chance for corrections? Seeing no hands. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the June 26, 2023 Common Council meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? And that motion passes. We'll move on to item 6, which is mayor's business. Don't have anything tonight, so we'll move on to item 7, which is announcements. Any announcements from the council? Seeing shaking heads, we'll move on to item 8, which is the administrator's report. Mr. Aulick.
Thank you, Mayor. We continue, along with Mr. Lamers, to work through our budget requests for 2024. The capital outlay items are all in now. We're meeting with directors on nailing down, items for next year, and working through those, making sure that they're split out properly among accounts and things like that. Also, we surveyed the staff late last week on personnel requests. We talked about that a little bit at the last meeting that we just had here with the Finance Committee. But overall, just again, organizing and collecting information and getting it in a digestible format for the alders going forward as we work through our budget process.
Thank you. Any questions on the administrator's report? Seeing shaking heads, we will move on to item 9, which is the engineer's report. Ms. Fisher.
Thank you. For the U.S. Highway 18151 project, this is a DOT project, but I wanted to just note that I updated the report to include the latest from their website. You can get more detail on the website, but in summary, long-term lane closures are anticipated to remain until mid-November around the city of Verona, so just something to be aware of. For the Eastview Road and the Eastview Court and Elm Street reconstruction project, that project has kicked off design, and design is anticipated to take place throughout 2023, and then construction would occur in 2024. I just wanted to note that the Wayland Road project is continuing, and that includes a detour. So just something to be aware of if you're in that area. And then finally, I wanted to note that there is a public stormwater outreach event being held at the library on Thursday, and that is on stream bank stabilization at 6:30 p.m. With that, I can take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Fisher? Alder Posey.
Thank you. And this may be something that needs some follow-up, but one of the things I know I'm hearing out in the community is people asking, how does all this come together that we're dealing with so much construction? And is it coordinated that we're dealing with all this at once? Because that is definitely something that people in the community are asking.
Unfortunately, it's just timing. It's different entities, so the DOT had this programmed in, so that's a separate project. So of course, we're aware of it, but we don't really have any influence on that schedule. A lot of the projects along Highway PD are being driven by just traffic needs. So that's been one piece. And then same with Wayland Road, that's just another, there's just a lot of development occurring throughout the city. So unfortunately, some of those projects just happen to be occurring on roads. So I would say the city projects, yes. The DOT projects, there's coordination, but not really any influence on our part. So unfortunately, yeah, it's a little bit of a tough summer.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing no hands, we will move on to item 10, which is committee reports. First up, we have 10A, which is Finance Committee. Alder Kemp.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to start off with making a motion for the payment of the bills in the amount of $1,092,129.28.
Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Humke. Alder Kemp.
Yes, first we have a payment of $75,205.40 to the Madison Metro Sewage District for the East Side Interceptor Path projects, a payment of $237,215.87 to AECom for miscellaneous engineering project costs, a payment of $174,895.60 to Farner Asphalt for chip sealing, and a payment of a payment of $77,945.50 to Well Water Solutions of Wisconsin for rehab on well number 1.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on the motion to pay the bills? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of paying the bills in the amounts specified, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Kemp.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion regarding approval of a request for a Public Works maintenance position.
Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Humke. Alder Kemp.
Yes, for the sake of discussion, staff is requesting to create and fill a new Public Works maintenance position due to operational deficiencies. The new position will be well-funded in 2023 by savings from another vacant positions within the department, and funding for the position beyond 2023 would be subject to approval through the budget process.
Motion before the body. Questions or comments on this motion? Seeing shaking heads. All those in favor of approving the request for Public Works maintenance position, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Kemp.
Yes, next I'd like to make a motion regarding a position description, reclassification, and compensation for the building and facilities manager position. Staff is requesting reclassification.
Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a second?
Sorry.
Second by Alder Touche. Alder Kemp.
Sorry. Staff is requesting reclassification of the building facilities manager position due to a change in job duties since the last position classification in 2016. If approved, given the current employee's length of service to Verona, the employee would go from grade 11 and step 9, or $32.18 an hour, a base pay to a base pay grade of grade 13, step 9, or $36.16 an hour. The total increase with longevity included is $32.82 an hour to $36.88 per hour. The proposed reclassification would become effective July 10, 2023, which is today.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Alder Host.
Just a question, if this individual leaves, that job stays at that rate, correct? It's not,
Mr. Olick?
Great question. Yes. So we did an objective analysis on this particular position, and because the duties have grown, it is graded out at a grade 13 no matter what, even if whoever is in the position leaves, yes. That's the fair analysis for this particular position.
Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the position description, reclassification, and compensation for the building facilities manager position change signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Alder Kemp.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion regarding the request for the part-time fire department administrative assistant position.
Motion by Alder Kemp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Humke. Alder Kemp.
Yes, the administrative assistant position for the Verona Fire Department was eliminated in the 2023 budget. We are requesting a reinstatement of the position because administrative duties have bogged down the fire chief from performing his actual duties as chief, and an ongoing effort to strengthen the culture of the Verona Fire Department. An administrative assistant would help with scheduling, payroll, and other administrative duties of the department. Staff is requesting part-time, 50% administrative assistant position for the Verona Fire Department. Savings from a vacant battalion chief position in the fire department would be used to offset the position in 2023, and the funding for the position beyond 2023 would be subject to approval through the budget process.
Thank you for that explanation. Questions or comments on this motion? Alder Tucker Lund.
I'm just curious with just the state of the workforce right now, if a part-time position is going to be something we can fill, and if there's something else we could combine it with. I know we're having trouble finding crossing guards. Could we give them part-time this and part-time crossing guard work to make one full-time position?
Mr. Olick, if you want to take a crack at that?
We haven't discussed it that way. For this, I think a little bit of the discussion that we had at the Finance Committee meeting kind of informs a little bit of where we're coming from. And that is, this is a position that's going to be charged with things like payroll for a 24/7 day a week fire department, which has really crazy, weird overtime rules. There's accounting, pay coding of accounts payable bills. It's a lot of kind of niche government-style accounting involved. I mean, we could look at that later. I think the immediate need right now is to free up the fire chief in order to so he can be a chief. And right now, he's getting, as he mentioned, kind of bogged down with a lot of the administrative work because he's doing it himself. So we could look at something like that maybe in the 2024 budget or what have you, a combined position of sorts. But I think the immediate need right now, and keeping it a 50% part-time job also saves money on, benefits and things like that as well. I forget the exact amount. Is it $20,000 and partially offset by the town because they're under contract too with the fire department? I think they contribute $3,000 towards this position. So we're trying to contain our costs but get our work done. Appreciate the question, though.
Yeah, I guess if I could add one thing quick, too. I think in the past we've had this position and it's been filled, and obviously if we couldn't fill it, I imagine the chief will come back to us and ask for something different. Did you have any follow-up, or?
Just that I know that part-time work, like everyone I know who's trying to hire part-time employees can't find them because people have to have benefits. And, so if there's multiple part-time positions that we're having trouble hiring for, and like if this is more of a specialized position, like, crossing guard was just an example of one I know we're having trouble hiring for a part-time position. So, it may be worthwhile looking into seeing what we can combine, but also so we can be good stewards of our employees and provide health insurance if we can.
Other questions or comments? Alder Hoeks, then Alder Posey.
Are we pulling the listing then for the battalion chief, or that they're still looking? Because that's where we're using funds, right, to offset part of this? So we're not
Right, so the
necessarily
battalion-
double dipping?
The battalion chief position will be filled eventually. It's kind of being offset in the fact that it hasn't been filled up to
Yet.
this point. And
Okay.
then it will be something that we'll have to deal with in the 2024 budget.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Alder Posey.
I think I've got two comments. One is, I do believe in our conversation in committee, it did come up that there are partial benefits of some sort along with this, correct?
Dental, I think.
Dental,
Correct.
something along those lines, so there is some
Access to
incentive related
benefits.
to that. Yeah. I don't know the specifics, but yeah, there's some of that. And then the other thing I know that I asked the chief was around that administrative side and kind of combining things, and what he's finding is skill sets aren't aligning with what he's needing and what's available in really great battalion chief versus the administrative side. So that's where this role really comes into play with being specific to what's necessary in the skill set for what he needs right now.
Yeah.
Alder Cup.
One other thing to just bring more color to that, I think I even asked him whether or not we could, like, how many lieutenants you have, and do any of them have the skills to try and do this right now, to try and, save from having to do this position? And he was just very blunt. He's like, no, they don't. And I think now that I'm thinking about this, it seems like it's kind of a technical position, and it's not, something that a good firefighter may be able to do. They're good at fighting fires and saving lives, and not necessarily counting beans and things like that. So that's what Mara is good at, and Brian is. So.
Alder Cronin.
I would just make the comment that Fitzgerald EMS has a 50% admin support position that was filled prior to the pandemic, so it's been well over 4 years. They have been an incredible boon to EMS and to Chief Anderson, and they wanted a part-time position. So, I mean, I think there are people out there who, if they have a partner who has benefits, that may not be the deal breaker for them. But I would highly support getting someone in there for helping.
Other questions or comments? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the request for a part-time fire department administrative assistant position, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Anything further from finance?
No, sir, thank you.
Excellent. We move on to 11, which is new business. First up, we have 11A, which is a discussion and possible action regarding mediation and potential litigation with the town of Verona. Mr. Allah, can you give us a brief summary in open session? Or Mr. Kleinmeyer, whoever wants to.
Mr. Klein, yeah, go for it.
I would just say that the Common Council met on this issue a number of weeks back. As a result of that, then I did have some communications with the town attorney. The town board did meet, and then they've had some communications back to me through their attorney, and that's essentially what we need to discuss in closed session.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Kleinmeyer in open session? Okay. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session if someone wants to make it. Okay. It's got to be fully read out as written. So if you've committed yourself to making the motion.
I'm like, get your computer on.
Read the whole italic paragraph.
So, yeah, move to go into closed session for topic and then read the.
Okay. I move that we convene in closed session. The common council may convene in closed session.
Is your mic on?
Sorry. All right. I move that the common council move into closed session. The common council may convene in closed session as authorized by Wisconsin statute 19.85 subsection 1 subsection G for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the city who is rendering oral advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the city with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The common council may reconvene in open session to discuss and take action on the subject matter discussed in the closed session.
Motion by Alder Tucker Long. Is there a second? Second by Alder Cronin. This is, of course, a roll call vote. If Clerk Licht would be so kind as to read the roll.
Alderperson Cronin.
Aye.
Alderperson Helmke.
Aye.
Alderperson Hoagst.
Aye.
Alderperson Kemp.
Aye.
Alderperson Kimmett. Aye. Alderperson Posey.
Aye.
Alderperson Touche.
Aye.
Alderperson Tucker Long.
Aye.
All right, we will be in closed session as soon as the doors are closed. All right, it is 7:58 PM, and we are back in open session. We had a good discussion in closed session, although no decisions were made. We will have updates in open session when a decision is made. Anything to add on this topic in open session? Seeing no hands, I will move on to item 12, which is adjournment. A motion to adjourn would be in order. Motion by Alder Touche, is there a second? Seconded by Alder Tucker-Lund. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And we are adjourned at 7:59 PM. Thank you, everyone.